Priya would tell me how she gets her neck cracked, her back cracked, and that terrified me. Hello. Am I going to do this whole video like this? Yes, I am. Just because, as you can hear, I'm in a completely empty studio, so apologies for the sound. But also, there's nothing to put my phone on. And this is the only way I can film myself. Welcome! If you're new here, my name is Jyoty, and I'm a DJ, presenter, curator, broadcaster, and now also YouTuber to a certain degree. And if you're not new here, welcome to a new video. Make sure you hit that like button, leave any questions you've got, any questions at all in the comments, and definitely subscribe. Before I moved to London, when I was still living in Amsterdam, the year before I moved, I finally started seeing a physiotherapist, a physical therapist, and because I had a lot of back problems, I was just constantly in pain. I was only 21, 22, and I just had a lot of pains and aches and just little issues that I couldn't really figure out what was wrong with me. And after seeing the physiotherapist for the first time, they immediately told me that I have like a tailbone that arches out quite far, sticks out quite far, has to do with genetics. I'm also not completely symmetrical. So the left side of my body is slightly higher than the right side, and that means my spine isn't completely aligned. And also all the years of wearing flat, this is important for everyone to hear, all the years of wearing Converse and Vans, which I used to in my late teens and early 20s, led to me getting flat feet, which then also has an effect on the rest of your body and your posture. So I think that's really something to think about. Because that was part of my healthcare plan, it didn't really actually cost me much. So moving to the UK, where the NHS, we're super grateful, but something like that would not have been covered. So I actually ended up never seeing anyone about my back again. But what I had been doing the last few years, since it was something I could afford, was getting massages, sports massages and Swedish massages, but it would never really sort out the problem. And I saw my good friend Priya, who does my nails, Bambi nails, because of her work and how she sits all day, she's got a really bad back, and she told me about this amazing osteopath who goes by the name of Anisha. And Priya would tell me how she gets her neck cracked, her back cracked, and that terrified me. And I was like, that's good for you, could never be me, however. Then during lockdown, I joined this virtual gym group called Body by Kira Squad. And a couple of months into it, I noticed that Anisha had joined as one of the instructors, and she would do all the stretch and roll sessions. I then also saw that a lot of people I know started seeing her once lockdown restrictions were lifted. Everyone was just posting videos of them getting their backs and their necks cracked and how fantastic they felt afterwards. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to give it a go. So I booked with her. Plus, by the way, she's a fellow South Asian woman doing her thing with her sister in central London. She's really, you got to support. If I'm going to go see anybody, it has to be someone like that. Do you know what I mean? My money will go there first. I messaged her. I explained to her how terrifying I thought it was. I wasn't looking forward to it. I was really nervous and anxious and scared, and she really put my mind to ease. She explained that they don't crack without permission, so they first ask you. And if, you are resisting, or you're nervous, or you're kind of getting stiff or kind of freezing up, then they don't force it. She'll do anything and everything but crack your bones in order for you to feel better. So what I'm going to show you now, this is nothing to be worried about, nothing scary. You won't see anything that's going to make you feel worried. I'm just going to show you a quick time lapse of my very first appointment. And what you're seeing is just, first she's checking out my spine, my back, she's finding issues. Then she's going to all the kind of important spots by using her hands, using small tools, and really relieving the tension in what we would call knots. She's also asking me about certain habits that I have. She did crack my back. The first thing she did is actually the part where she kind of leans over my midriff. That's her cracking my actual spine and back, and that wasn't scary or nerve-wracking at all, and it immediately felt so good. And then she moved on to my neck, and I was terrified. So she was only able to crack it one way. And from the moment that happened, I was just like, why have I been so scared of this all this time? But then Anisha also explained that it's normal for us to be terrified because we've seen so many moments and scenes in movies and TV shows where we'll see someone getting hurt or killed even by twisting their neck, and that's something that's very stuck in our heads. Another good thing to know is it really can't be that dangerous if someone like Anisha cracks the necks and backs of artists right before they go on stage. I, after my first appointment, felt immediately so relieved. I felt a lot lighter, especially from my shoulders up. It wasn't anything crazy, but I felt lighter and a little bit, oh, my lower back. This is gonna sound silly, but I was twerking better, okay? If you know me, you know I love practicing twerking in my bedroom, and I could really throw it in a circle without throwing out my back. A couple of weeks later, I went again. One more time. There is no warning that you need. You will only see a time lapse. So same thing, making me sit up straight, taking a look at my back, asking what my problems were in the last few weeks, and really handling those. This time around, she was able to crack my neck both ways. And funny thing is, what happened after this appointment is that I felt a bit drowsy and I had headaches for a couple of days, but it turns out that that's actually perfectly normal because your toxins are able to leave the body. Did I burp? Yeah, I did. After this one, I felt really amazing. Like my second appointment made me feel different on my feet. And I just felt a lot more, I don't know, I walked better. I walked lighter, if that means anything to you. And what I want to show you now is a kind of closer video that I took where you can see and hear me, if you listen closely, get my neck cracked. So if you get really uncomfortable by those type of videos or footage, I do recommend you don't look. Doing the thing. Oh. This time around, actually, the right side, I was kind of tensing up again. It could have something to do with me holding my phone, but even after I put the phone down, I still couldn't really let go. So we gave it a rest, and there's now more time booked in between my two appointments. So what I was gonna say is, if you've been thinking about it, if you do anything, whether it's for your job or as a hobby, that really puts a lot of pressure or tension and any part of your body. This is not, I just wanted to clarify, this is not just for your neck and your back. This is your whole body, right? But for me, my problem areas are my neck and my back. If you're DJing, you're a producer, you're a gamer, you do nails, you do hair, you give massages, stuff like that. This is really something good for you. If you work out a lot, if you train a lot, you need this. You can never fix certain injuries unless you really get to the root of the problem. And that is getting in between the bones. Right, I've just been cracked somewhat, but Anisha just said something really interesting about tight shoulders and necks.
Yeah, so what I said was that muscle is attached to bone. So therefore, if your spine isn't in the correct position, or if there is air trapped within the joints and it's not moving properly, no matter how many massages you get, that can still go back again because you're not getting to the root of the problem.
And I have spent so much money on massages.
And I'm not saying massages aren't beneficial. I'm saying they're great.
Yeah.
I'm saying massages are vital. I'm just saying you need to actually kind of see the surgeon before you see the rehab.
Yeah.
And we work together. But if you just, a lot of people don't know what osteopaths do.
Yeah.
Or are scared.
Yeah.
And then they're going to the rehab before they're getting to the root of
the problem.
And then they end up spending more money. Whereas you should be seeing someone like an osteopath once every 3 or 4 months to do the adjustments, and then seeing a massage therapist once a month afterwards, or just they will maintain you.
And I will definitely say, if you live anywhere near London, go and see Anisha and her sister and support a local brown woman's business. And that's it, really. That's my video for today. I just wanted to let you know what it's like from the perspective of someone who never thought that they'd be able to do something like that. So if you've got any questions, leave it in the comments. Go and make sure you follow Anisha and her business on Instagram. And you subscribe to my channel, because I do it for the people. I don't do it for me. Okay, bye.